Okay, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have decided that you address them as one. Anybody, any entity, when you want to discuss with either of them about any issue, you need to address them all together. No more coming to the side and talking to Niger or talking to Mali. No, none of that. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are very much appreciated. Let me check my microphone. Sometimes we'll be talking, you don't even know. It's not even recording. But I see it's recording. Great stuff. Thank you very much for coming. I know you come very often and I appreciate you. My name is Zack. This is your first time. You very much appreciated. And you want to know about the motherland, Africa, you're at the right place. You want to know about any country in Africa. This is what you want to do. Thank you. We appreciate you. So, great stuff. We are in Mali here, okay? We're going to talk about Mali today. The Confederation of Sahel have decided to come together, meaning anybody, any entity, any country that wants to deal with either of them must talk to the whole of them. Is that great? Piyama Kofi. Yeah, that's the way you go about it. Now, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger demands collective negotiation from now on following their coordinated exit from ECOWAS. And I'll give you context, okay? Here is for everybody. You don't have to know any geopolitics to understand. You're surely going to understand. So, the president of Mali, this man right here, Assimi Goïta, he met three people. Who are the three people? The foreign ministers of each of these countries, okay? Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. They met with the president of Mali. Why? You're asking yourself. Because they wanted to give him a report on the meeting they had with ECOWAS. And you're asking yourself a question, certainly. Why him? Well, because he is the acting president of the Confederation of the Sahel State. The three prime ministers of each country have to give him reports for every meeting they have.
Nous avons eu hier l'occasion d'échanger avec la commission de la CEDEAO, donc en prélude aux négociations qui vont régir le retrait définitif des trois pays de l'AES, de la CEDEAO. Alors, il était question pour nous de venir rendre compte au président de la Confédération, le général d'armée Assimi Goïta, et de faire le point, de relever des conclusions auxquelles nous sommes parvenus.
What is the Confederation? It's Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And why is Malian president the president? Because they're alternating. So each year, the president of the next country will be the acting president. And right now, it's the Malian president. Now, what was the meeting about? The three ministers of foreign affairs went to discuss with ECOWAS about their separation. Okay, you've been working together for a while. It's time to part ways. You don't fight over it. You try to be mature. I'm going this way, you're going that way. So, goodbye. That was the meeting about. And you're asking yourself, what is ECOWAS? This is ECOWAS. You see these countries here? These are ECOWAS. There used to be 15 countries that worked together, sort of be friendly with one another. Open space, you could cross the next country without a visa. Even though in reality, once you went to the border, you still found a policeman asking you for money for visa. Crazy stuff. Fake brotherhood and whatever. So ECOWAS used to be a very strong entity until these three countries left. Okay, the three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, used to be part of ECOWAS, but they decided to leave. Why did they leave? They left because they felt ECOWAS is still controlled by the West, and they wanted to really work for the interest of Africans. So these three countries, so you can understand, decided to topple their president because they deemed their president were puppets. Therefore, they needed acting presidents who actually care for the people, build hospitals, build roads, build schools, create jobs, make sure that your minerals actually benefiting your people and not foreign people from Europe. And that is why ECOWAS didn't like them, because they toppled the president. ECOWAS would have wished them to go through democratic processes. However, how do you do when you live in a country where you cannot be democratic because the elections are rigged? And if you claim they beat you up and throw you in jail, well, there must be a solution. The solution they found was toppling the president. And ECOWAS didn't like that. And now, when did they separate? They separated when ECOWAS decided to attack one of them, this country, Niger. You see ECOWAS? You see them again, all these countries? They wanted to attack Niger. Why? Because the Nigerian people toppled their president. And the ECOWAS leaders were very good friends with the Nigerian president, Mohamed Bazoum. So they said, we want Mohamed Bazoum reinstated by force. Imagine you have a country, you topple your president, and the neighboring countries say they're going to come into your country and topple you. I mean, just think about it. Why? Because they say they love you people, but they're ready to kill many other people so they can reinstate one person. That's when they say, you know what? I think this is not brotherhood. We are out of ECOWAS. We don't want to be part of this anymore. Now, they're finding themselves in a situation where they have to negotiate. ECOWAS begged them to come back. They say, no, we're not interested. We're going to be AES. That's us, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. We're going to have a leader per year. The next year, the leader of the next country will be the president. Now, they had to sit down to have a discussion with ECOWAS on how are they going to move forward. What's the way forward? You must have a discussion like adults. At the end of the day, you must continue living next to one another. The delegation included Malian Minister Abdoulaye Diop, his Burkinabe counterpart Jean-Marie Karakome Traoré, and the Nigerian Minister Bakari Saou Sangare. The three ministers briefed the President of the Confederation of the conclusion for their first meeting with ECOWAS. The three ministers insisted on one fundamental point. Discussions will continue exclusively in collective and coordinated manner. Meaning there's no more discussion with Mali alone. It's over. No discussion with Niger alone. It's over. No discussion with Burkina Faso. If you want to talk about Mali, about Mali's goal, you need to have Burkina Faso, Niger, and the other brother coming together. If you want to talk about Niger's petrol, you need to sit everybody together so they can decide. If you want to have any sort of contract, they all have to sit together. Is this brotherhood or not? Pick up my coffee. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. So now the message is clear. ECOWAS and Africa, from now on, you want to talk to either of us. All the three foreign ministers must be in the room so they can have a discussion. Are they getting stronger or not? Let me know how you feel about that. In Mali, the Germans are coming back. Yes, the Germans. You're surely asking yourself, how are they coming back? When did they leave? Yes, they left because they were not happy when the government changed. When the soldiers took over the government, the Germans left. Why were the Germans there? Well, the Germans were there for two reasons. Number one reason, they have aid that they provide to Mali. I'm going to explain to you that. Number two, they came to participate in a United Nations program named MINUSMA. MINUSMA is literally just a bunch of soldiers coming to fight terrorists. But they never win any war. They don't win any wars. They just come, they get money, they get paid, they take women, they make babies, and they forget them. Yeah, that's what they do across Africa, unfortunately. And Germans were part of the MINUSMA force with the goal of fighting terrorists. Berlin has just announced its intention to extend its development assistance to Mali. Germany has reaffirmed its firm commitment to continuing its support for Mali. However, Berlin now insists on a partnership based on mutual respect, rigorous consideration, and new regional dynamics. You're surely asking yourself what kind of aid was Berlin bringing to Mali? Well, the Germans felt like providing education, employment, and capabilities to young people will deter them from trying to go to Europe. So that's number one. Number two, bringing opportunities to young people in Mali would prevent them of considering to become terrorists. So they have two goals. Prevent them from becoming terrorists. Number two, get them to stay in their country when they have opportunities, so they don't have to come to Germany or any other European country. Since 2013, Germany has mobilized several hundred million euros for development projects. Germany considers development to be an essential tool for preventing extremism by providing alternative education, employment to vulnerable young people. So the Germans believe by supporting the government with employment and education, they will reduce the reason that pushes population to flee to Europe. So they were very much involved in construction, agriculture, infrastructure, water into Mali. They really provided a lot of means for the Malian people. Now, why did the Germans leave? They left because there was a growing tension between the junta of Mali at the time against the United Nations that was asking them to get back to democratic system, which doesn't work for Africans. And the Germans, after they heard that, and the Malians refused to reverse, they said, you know what? No, we're not going to work with you. It was because Mali decided to be friends with the Russians, and they hated the fact that Malians turned away from Europeans going to the Russians, and that was bad for them. It was impossible for them to operate because they used to fly drones for operations and surveillance, and Mali said, you can't do this anymore. And they was like, okay, guys, we are leaving. They've left. Now, who called them back? Nobody called them back. They decided to come back because they certainly feel like there's interest. Because why? Why would you help somebody for free who doesn't clearly listen to what you have to say? why would you help them unless you are actually getting something out of helping them? Again, it's very simple. Number one, when they give Mali things and opportunities and education and employment, the young Malians will probably just want to stay in Mali. Number two, that's what they feel. The young Malian will probably just want to stay in Mali. That's how Germans feel. Number two, they feel like by providing all that stuff, options, youngsters will not want to go join terrorist groups, which represent a danger also to Germany once they cross into Europe. In Niger, Mali and Niger have signed an agreement to help each other in terms of fuel. Very good news for the population of the northern region of Mali. The Malian Authority have signed an agreement with Niger to supply fuel to northern Mali. For several weeks, the northern region of Mali have been facing serious fuel shortage, and this is due to the fallout with Algeria. Well, Algeria used to export some fuel, legally and illegally, into northern Mali, and it's been a bit of a problem right there for a while. Why? Because Algeria, remember, shut down a Malian drone that was going after terrorists. And apparently those terrorists in Mali, some of them at least, live in Algeria or are protected by Algeria. And when Algeria's satellite and detector system saw a Malian drone flying very close to the terrorists, they shot it down. Algeria said that the Malian drone was inside Algeria airspace. Mali said no, it was about 6 kilometers inside Mali. As you can see, or look on the map, they're very close countries. So who was telling the truth, who was telling lies? Big question mark. After that, obviously, Mali recalled its ambassador from Algeria, and Algeria blocked the border and also blocked the supply of fuel. But now, Mali and Niger have agreed, because Niger does have fuel. You're going to supply me with a thing that I need. We are one country now. And clearly, Niger is considering Mali like one bigger province in their country. And that is the brotherhood we need. Whether they're right or wrong, I think that's the kind of brotherhood we need. Isn't that true? That's what it is, fellas. The AES are very serious about the situation right now. Well, you cannot talk to either of us if you don't talk to all of us at the same time. Because in most cases, when you separate people, you start talking to one at a time. That's how you get to people. Okay, that's how you destroy people. Certainly from experience, they chose to, we don't want to talk to anybody but ourselves because they understand. The Germans are back in Mali. They say they want to sponsor, they want to pay. They're not going to pay directly to the government, but they're going to pay to NGOs because they don't want to support the government who's not democratically elected, but they still want to come back to Africa and work. Mali has signed an agreement with Niger to be supplied of fuel because Algeria refused, obviously, to supply Mali because they're not liking each other very much right now. How inspiring is this group of people, this confederation? I really want to know how you feel about this. Do you think they're going to make it? Or do you think it's going to be a very short road? Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. God bless.